Welcome to GBALL VISION, everyone. Tonight we are talking about some fantastic, affordable knives that you may have forgotten about. And we're going to kick it off with the Vasteed Nightshade. This is the TH edition, coming in 154 cm steel. You have a PVD coated blade, black micarta handles. You have copper pivot collars, both sides. This does have a deep carry steel pocket clip. It will not be reversible. This is designed after a Schillen kukri style of blade, making that tip down ultra useful, very utilitarian. This is a knife that should not be forgotten about. And in this day and age of knives, new knives coming in week after week, month after month, it is easy to forget knives that are just fantastic, phenomenal, everyday carry knives, work knives, and it happens relatively quick. Even the best knives can be forgotten about within a matter of days, and that is what these videos are for, to kind of bring back the knives that in the past have been fantastic but may have been forgotten about. And this is definitely one of them knives that is fantastic and should not be forgotten about. There's a ton of different versions of this knife out there now, flipper versions, thumb hole versions, and then they also have a combination flipper and hole version now. So I'm excited to see what they come up with next. I think an XL is definitely in store. Let's get to the next one. This next one, the Kaiser Genie. This is one of my all-time favorite budget knives. Now, the Kaiser Genie originally came in N690 steel, which I believe now it comes in 154 cm. But even in this current state, the N690 version right here is fantastic. I have literally beat the hell out of this knife, and it continues coming back for more. I love the sheep's foot blade. You still maintain a nice pokey tip there. You have a nice long edge that is very useful. You're going to have dual deployments with this guy. You have the cutout and the front flipper. They all work very good. The detent is tuned nicely. The action is fantastic. Just like on the Nightshade, fantastic action. You can thumb flick this out, reverse flick it, front flip it. The micarta is fantastic as always from Kaiser, or usually always. You have a nice deep carry steel clip there. This will not be reversible as well, but at the price point for what you're getting, I think this is a fantastic EDC knife. And if you can get it at the right price in 154 cm or the N690, I think it is a go-to EDC and work knife. I think it's fantastic, a great size, great blade shape, and Kaiser is usually doing well by everyone. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Next up, we got the Kuby Hide. This is a Colin Mason Pierre design. You might have heard of him. He is in cahoots with our good buddy Kevin over at Lefty EDC. They make up Devo knives. This knife is probably at least a year old at this point, if not even a little older. You're getting a nice drop point blade, little bit of belly. This is coming in 14C 28N. You have a nice cutout and top flipper for deployment. So you have dual deployments. Absolutely fantastic action. You can thumb flick it out, reverse flick it out, top flip it. So it has great action, great deployment options. You do have a deep carry reversible clip, good access to the liner, not great, but for the money and materials, this thing is fantastic. Fits in the hand very well. Nice neutral grip, Great useful blade shape, easy to get that index grip on and get to work. Nice precision with this knife. It has been one of my favorites. It's definitely gotten lost in the knife case over the last year or so, but it is still fantastic and can be had for a very good price, in my opinion. Colin's design language is very noticeable. You can tell when it's one of his designs, and this is a fantastic design with that low tip, easy to climb up behind that edge. Just a fantastic offering from Kuby and Colin. Absolutely love the Kuby Hide. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. This next one has long been on the channel. I've raved about this knife for a long time. The Savivi Braun. Now, it doesn't have to be in this current form. I like this knife so much, I bought it twice. I have the original, which is in 14C28N, which is the version that I would go with. And then they have the Damascus version, and then they have a Tanto version, which I believe comes in D2. That one I don't really count in this, although I'm sure it's great. But I would go with the 14C28N. You get a beautiful drop point blade, and there's a couple different flavors of that version. You get dual thumb studs and a flipper tab. The detent is tuned perfectly. I would say this is when Savivi was really at the top of their game. Great micarta. They also came in G10, different colored G10s, different micartas. You have a deep carry reversible clip on this guy, and the 14C version can be had around like the $60 mark, I think, which is fantastic. Great size, great ergos, great blade shape, and the aesthetic of this thing is fantastic. It's your typical drop point knife, but executed very well from Savivi. Nice and thin, nice and slicey. Absolutely one of my favorite budget knives of all time, the Savivi Braun. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. This one came out within the last year or so, I want to say, the CJRB Ruffian. This is a Dirk Pinkerton design, and when this first came out, I jumped on it right away. It's coming in AR PM9, CJRB, and Artisan's proprietary powder metal ergy steel. You have this nice Warncliffe blade, nice pokey tip, nice straight edge. It's coming down nice and thin. RPM 9 is fantastic, guys. If you are new to the knife world, or you're new to Artisan, CJRB, and you've never really heard of ARPM 9, do not fret at all. For the price point, it is a fantastic steel. It's the only powdered steel that you can get in the $40 to $70 range. It's absolutely fantastic. It holds an edge. It's very corrosion resistant. It's tough stuff. I'm a huge fan of it. And I even think that CJRB has knives in the RPM 9 as low as like in the mid 30s or so, which I've thought about getting just because it's a fantastic steel. This has G10 handles. You have anodized pivot collars. You have a deep carry steel rollover clip that's going to be 4-way interchangeable, tip down or up, left or right hand carry. Very minimal and neutral design, but I'll tell you what, a very useful blade shape, and this is a fantastic EDC knife. This is another one that I've really put the work on, and it just keeps coming back for more. Great access to that liner with a mini chamfer, easy to disengage, and nice and fun to fidget with. You can slow roll it out, reverse flick it, thumb flick it. Absolutely one of my all-time favorite budget knives that should never be forgotten about. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. This next one is one of the, in my opinion, the greatest budget knives, best values of all time. This is the Megaron Velona Coming in 14C 28N, it is almost a 9-inch knife. It might even be over the 9-inch mark. You're getting one hell of a piece of 14C. Yeah, it's coming in right at the 9-inch mark. You're getting a chunk of 14C 28N, and mind you, it's got a crown spine. You have a nice long deep fuller on that drop point blade. Nice useful blade shape. The action on this thing is incredible. You can thumb flick it, reverse flick it. You have a rear flipper tab that you can light switch, push button, whatever you want. This thing will grant you that wish. You have brass pivot collars on the clip side, great access to the liner with some jimping and a chamfer. You have a milled tie clip that's going to be reversible for our lefty brothers out there. The aesthetic is badass. This would do EDC task, work task, and it could be supplemented as a self-defense knife as well with that nice pokey tip. So I mean, talk about the tri-way trifecta of knife using. The Megaron Velona will definitely cover you, and you can routinely get these for around 50 bucks, which is absolutely insane. Megaron nails their builds. They nail the materials, and best of all, their pricing is out of this world good. Megaron is one of my go-tos when it comes to a good, affordable knife with good materials and good build quality. No question, Megaron is at the top of that list, and there's no question this knife should never be forgotten about. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Now, this next one did come out within the last year or so. This is the O-Knife Freeze 2, OEM by Kaiser, but it's a fantastic knife that was raved about for a little while, but it has since, you know, kind of faded off, just like the rest of these knives. It tends to fade off. No matter how good a knife is, it eventually fades off. This is coming in 154 cm. You have a nice drop point blade with a swedge going to the tip. Nice PVD coating on here that has seemed to hold up well. You do only have a flipper tab for deployment, but you can thumb flick this out because you have good access to the blade there. So it's very easy to thumb flick this out, and I think I can reverse flick it as well. Maybe. Yeah, you can reverse flick it. Not that it's meant to do that. If you get low enough on it down here, you can reverse flick it out. Not the easiest thing in the world, but you have a deep carry steel rollover clip. It's going to be reversible. Great access to that liner. No chamfer or jimping, but it might not be the most necessary thing, but I'd still like to see a chamfer there. You have some nice fine jimping that is fairly grippy. Great aesthetic, great ergos, good materials, and definitely a pretty damn good price considering 154 cm, aluminum handles, reversible steel rollover clip. I think this was a great design from O-Knife and definitely a great build from Kaiser. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Next up, we have the Artisan Cutlery Arion, and this knife, when it first came out, was an absolute hit. It's fantastic in every single stretch of the imagination. And if you're one of the people who think RPM 9 is only good when it's coated, I have a spoiler alert for you. This is a satin finish in RPM 9, and it has held up extremely well. I can't stress enough how good RPM 9 really is for the money. It is a fantastic steel, and whether it's uncoated, whether it's coated, it seems to hold up so well. I've been dealing with RPM 9 for the last 2, maybe 3 years. Ever since it was released by Artisan, I remember buying a couple right away because I wanted to try it, and I have probably 15 or 20 knives in it, and I've had no issues with corrosion. The edge retention is great. It seems like it is very tough stuff. I've never had any issues with chipping or anything like that. And Artisan does a fantastic job, especially when they want to. This is a prime example of they wanted to show what they could do. You have this beautiful drop point, leaf-shaped style blade. You have this elongated cutout here for deployment, thumb, and reverse flick. Beautiful micarta. Some of the best micarta comes from Artisan when they want to do it. You have an integrated lanyard loop here with your micarta backspacer. Deep carry steel rollover clip that works very well. This will not be reversible, but for the money, this thing is fantastic. You do have great access to that liner. The action on this thing is fantastic. Thwacks out of there, nice hydraulic close. Absolutely love the Arion from Artisan, and this is definitely a knife that should never be forgotten about. It is absolutely amazing, and it's such a good price for what you're getting. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see on the next video, including knives that you may have forgotten about, because I plan on continuing to run this for a long time, because there's plenty of knives out there that were great and still are great that just get forgotten about in the mass amounts of knives that just come out every month. It is insane, and I am here to keep these knives relevant at least a little bit. So let me know down in the comments what you would like to see next on the next video. Give me a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel or you're not subscribed to the channel but you keep coming back, hit the subscribe button down below, because I have lots more stuff coming your way. I'm going to throw up 2 new videos right here and here. Definitely head over and check one of them out. Otherwise, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.